How to replace electronic power steering with hydraulic power steering on an Acura TSX wagon. Let's talk about the similarities first. Both steering racks have the same knuckle input, and both steering racks have the same tie rod outputs on both sides. The biggest difference is how they are powered. The hydraulic one is powered by a hydraulic power steering pump that is connected to the engine and driven by the drive belt, and it creates the pressure that is necessary to turn the wheels while stationary. While the electric power steering is controlled by an electric motor that's located on the passenger side of the vehicle. In terms of mounting, the hydraulic one is also thinner on the passenger side, so you will most likely need subframe components from the hydraulic power steering car. In my case, since I'm doing a whole engine swap, it just came with it anyway, so I didn't have any issues. In terms of the remainder of the electronic power steering system, this is the main wiring harness that powers it, and I'm basically abandoning it in place. It isn't much of an issue for me because I redid all the wiring, including the fuse boxes and where the ECU is going to be. So in theory, I shouldn't have any warning lights on my dashboard. Let's take a look at the electrical diagram for the electronic power steering so we can understand how it works and why I don't think my dashboard is going to have a power steering light issue. This blue rectangle in the middle is the EPS control unit. And right below it in the diagram is the steering gearbox, which is the actual steering rack that we saw. And this is a diagram showing how the power and signals are transferred between all the components. The power comes from the battery to the underhood fuse relay box and to the control unit, and then it transfers it over to the steering gearbox through these 3 wires, which we saw. You also have a couple of sensors for the torque, and that's how it senses how much power it needs to put in. And then you've got a ground, as well as an ignition input from the driver's underdash relay fuse box, as well as a signal to the ECU, which is also referred to as the ECM/PCM. In my case, I have eliminated the steering gearbox, and the underhood fuse box was also replaced, as well as the ECU. So even though my EPS control unit remains inside the car, it no longer transmits a signal to the ECU, it no longer transmits power to the steering gearbox, and it no longer sends or receives signals from the torque sensor. So in theory, even though the EPS control unit remains inside the car, I should not have a warning light because it's not getting any power whatsoever. That in itself might trigger a warning light, we'll have to see. But I did wire a new power steering pump switch into the TSX body that communicates with the Accord's ECU. So hopefully it all works out.